In this section, we're doing part 2 of the lesson that we had started from last time. We were writing the equations of the lines. So we're picking up with the next types of problems that we're going to be looking at and building off what we did from last time. So again, type of problem we're looking at says write the equation. And so this time I want you to notice that they've given us 2 points that are on the line. 2 points that are on the line. Now the last time they gave us the slope and then they gave us a point and we were able to write it directly into point slope form. Okay, however, this time they give me 2 points that are on the line, and so I'm going to have to take a little bit different approach on this one. Remember, to plug into point slope form, I need a point, which we have. Matter of fact, they've given us 2 points, but I also need the slope. Well, the question is there any way for me to find the slope from these 2 points on the line? And the answer is yes. Okay, remember earlier in this unit, we had change in y over change in x to find the slope. And so the difference in this problem is we're going to have to go off to the side to find the slope first, and then from there we can plug into the point slope form like we did last time. All right, so finding the slope, it'll be m equals, and change in y, so y goes from -2 to 6, and so that's going to be up by 8, and change in x goes from -9 to 3. And so that's going to be going up by 12. And so remember the rule, if the signs are different, you can add 9 plus 3 and get 12. And I'm going to have to reduce this now to 2/3. Okay, so 2/3, that's my slope. Okay, so now I have a point. I can choose either one of these points and then take this slope and plug it back into point slope form. So I'll have y minus y1 equals m open x minus x1, and now we'll go and plug in, so it'll be y. Now remember, it doesn't matter which one of these 2 points you pick, you would get the same answer if you chose the first point or if you chose the second point. So really the only advantage would be choosing the point with the smaller numbers, I guess, so that your calculations are not as big. So I'll choose 3 and 6, and so it's going to be y minus 6, that's the y number, equals, what did we get for the slope? 2/3 open. X minus 3 is the x number. And so remember how we plug into point slope from last time. The x drops behind the x and changes sign. The y drops behind the y and changes sign. And then the slope will drop in for m exactly the way it is. So now I've got 2 steps to rearrange this thing. I'll move the 6 over, y equals, and I'll distribute at the same time. 2 over 3x minus, now here the 3's would cancel and leave me with 2. So the 3's would cancel, leave me with the 2 on top. Now don't forget, you're moving a 6 over, so I need plus 6. Don't forget about that step. And we got y equals 2/3 x and then plus 4, and then that is the equation of the line. So with this types of problems, the only difference is you have to go off to the side and calculate the slope first. Then you can use a point and the slope to plug it into point slope like we did last time. All right, let's practice a few more here. Okay, so in the next one, I want the equation of the line that goes through these 2 points. Once again, off to the side to calculate the slope. I need the change in y on top, -4 to 8. That's going up by 12. And from 2 to 5. That's going up by 3. And so when I divide that out, I'm going to get 4, and 4 is my slope. Now I can pick either point that I want. Pick 5 and 8. There's really, doesn't matter which one you pick, you'll get the same answer. So it'll be y minus 8 equals, well, let me write down the full formula first, actually, because that helps us keep everything straight when we plug in. So it'll be y minus y1 equals m open x minus x1. Now we can go y minus 8 equals, my slope we found was 4, and the x number plus 5 will change to -5 when it drops in. And 2 more steps, we can rearrange this thing, so it'll be y equals 4x minus 20, and the 8 will move back to the other side and change to plus 8. And I can combine those together and get 4x minus 12, and then that is your equation of the line. All right? And so, like I say, similar to what we had done last time, we just have to go off to the side and we have to calculate the slope first. That's really the only difference between this lesson and the last one. So one more of this type of problem now that I want to look at. And again, I've got 2 points. Go ahead and find the slope. And so I've got the change in y on top. So y goes from -1 to -7. That's actually going down by 6. So -6 is my top number in the slope. My change in y goes from -5 to 10. That's going up by 15. And so remember what we said, if the signs are the same, subtract the numbers. 7 minus 1 is 6. If the signs are different, add the numbers. 10 plus 5 gives you 15. That's how you can find the change. I need to reduce this down. So that's negative. And 6 over 15 will reduce down to 2 over 5. So remember, make sure you reduce the slope down if you can before you finish. All right? Now we've got the proper slope. I'm ready to plug in. We'll write the formula first. Y minus y1 equals m, open, x minus x1. All right, so I got y. I will choose the first point, I guess, because the numbers are smaller. So -1 will change to +1, equals to -2 over 5 is my slope. Remember, the slope drops in exactly the way it is. It doesn't change at all. And remember, got to make sure we get our sign correct on that from the beginning, because if you don't write it in as -2/5, you're going to get it wrong. So it would be x, and then the x number is -1, that would, or excuse me, -5, that will change to +5. So remember, whichever point you picked, use that for your x and y. You can't use the y from this point and the x from this point. That won't work. Make sure you use the same point for both x and y. All right, 2 more steps. Let's move it over. Y equals -2 over 5x, and that's minus. The 5 cancels and leaves me with 2. Don't forget your +1 is coming over and changing to -1. So that's going to make the equation of that line y equals -2 over 5x minus 3 is the correct answer. All right, so there you go. Okay, so now the next problem that we come to is a little bit different. So this time they're not giving me 2 points. Okay, they're giving me the x-intercept and the y-intercept. And I say they're not giving me 2 points, but in actuality the y-intercept and the x-intercept is 2 points. It's just giving us 2 points in a different format. It's not giving us the ordered pair. But we can get the ordered pair from this information. The the x-intercept, remember, if the x-intercept is 2, then that point is 2, 0, right? Because remember, the place where it crosses on the x-axis, the y value has to be 0. So that's 2, 0 for that point. And then, on the other hand, for the y-intercept, if the y-intercept is -5, then that means my x value at that point is 0. Right? So at the x-intercept, y is 0. At the y-intercept, x is 0. So these are my 2 points. So based on these intercepts, I can write down the ordered pairs of 2 points, and then it's just like the last problem. I need to find the slope. And so let's go off to the side and see if we can find the slope of this thing. So it's m equals, all right, so change in y from 0 to -5, that's down by 5. And the change in x from 2 to 0, that's down by 2. Now, 5 over 2 doesn't reduce, but negative divided by negative is a positive. So I'm going to write that as +5 over 2. So that's very important to see so that we keep our signs correct. Now, all we have to do at this point is write the answer. We don't have to go through point-slope form. Now, you can if you want to. You'll get the same answer. But remember, what do we need to write the equation of the line? We need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Well, we have both of those things right now. So my answer is y equals 5 over 2x and then -5. And then there's your answer. Now, if you want to go through point slope and rearrange it, you can, but that's just a lot more work to get this answer. So remember, if you've got the slope and you've got the y-intercept, those are the 2 things that you need to write the equation of the line, so you're done at that particular point. Okay? All right. Next thing that we're going to look at, we got one more. And so I'm going to take this now and turn it into an ordered pair. So that would be -2, 0 and 0, 4. And so once again, I'm ready to find the slope of this thing. And so I've got the change in y from 0 to 4, that'd be 4. And I've got the change in x from -2 to 0, and that's up by 2. That's going to make my slope 2. And now once again, I am ready to go ahead and write in the equation for this line. Y equals 2x and then plus 4 is the correct answer. All right, because remember, once you have the slope and the y-intercept, those are the only two things that you need to write in the equation of the line, and then we're done. All right, so in total, in this section, 3-6, Part 1 and Part 2, we had a total of 4 different types of problems that we looked at. All right, and so, again, when you get to the problem, you're going to have to analyze the information that they've given you and decide which course of action to take. Remember, in order to write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form, you need the slope and the y-intercept. All right, so there are several different routes that we took based on the information that they gave us in order to come up with those responses. So let's go ahead and take what we've learned now, and now at this point we're ready for quiz 3-6.